Welcome, Gloria to Bona. Welcome to Eunice's Author's Corner. I'm so happy to be talking to you this afternoon, and I hope you are happy to be here. Could you please tell me?
Okay. Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
I'm grateful. Yeah.
You're welcome. Could you please tell me a little bit about yourself, please?
It's okay. I'm Gloria Kubona, and I also go by my maiden name is Obi. So at times I also write by that name as well.
Okay.
And I'm from Bayelsa State, South Nigeria, and from a large family, a polygamous family, but married with three young adults, 2 young adults and 1 teenager. And I've been teaching for about 20 years now. Yes, and so I basically work with teenagers, and even in church, I prefer where the teenagers are, because I kind of like, I just like to be around teenagers. And so my writing is even focused more on the teenagers, and once in a while I could delve towards something else, but I always come back to where the teenagers and the children are.
Oh, that's so good to hear. It's really interesting. I just want to ask you that when did you start to write, and what gave you the passion to start to write, please?
Okay, when I started writing, I think during my youth service, I started with poetry, and I came out with one collection called Dance Steps. I'm kind of like just influenced my environment. Anything that captures my interest, I write on. So, a book of about 30 poems or so. So I started writing as a poet. Then I went into storytelling. And the stories came from my interaction with teenagers in the church. So as I interact with them on Sundays, I developed stories from the Bible, and that was how I got into writing Bible stories for teenagers and children as well. And apart from that, I think I've gone into some scriptural work, not for teenagers now, but for, kind of like a work, not for teenagers, but anybody can read.
Okay.
A Christian literature. Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. Since you started working with teenagers, have you done like workshops with teenagers that they come to, learn a lot about poetry as well? Or do you just write the books, to impact them?
I've not had the opportunity to do that. Okay. I think once, that was some years back, I actually organized a workshop for workers in the church and for leaders, as a really young person anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Concerning, the work among teenagers and children. But apart from that, I've not been able to do any other thing. I just have time with them in church and all that.
Okay. Could you please tell me a little bit about your experience in publishing in Nigeria? Because in this country, it's very difficult as well to get a publishing deal. So could you please tell me a little bit about that, please?
I've basically self-published my book of poetry. I did it on my own with a local publisher, and I think I found it very difficult selling them off. Even when Ministry of Education approved the book, it was difficult to get schools to patronize this book. So the books just were just there. And just 1 or 2 persons will say, I say, whoa, this is a good work.
You see.
But then nobody to put it out there.
Wow.
Yes, and okay, that book of poetry It's not for kids. It's kind of adult stuff.
Okay.
Something that yes, universities will use, but since the connection is not there, the book they are just there. But one or two persons will say and say, "This is good stuff. How come it just sitting
it's
down
just
here?
lying, sitting down there?" Wow.
Yes.
Oh.
And then I did other works with the same publisher, and apart from that book of because it was difficult to sell out, the other books I did, he sold them for me. He sold them, I think, 2 other works. So it's funny enough. He was giving me stipends, giving me some allowances. It got to a time I stopped receiving, and I discovered he made away with part of what he had sold anyway. So self-publish, you want to sell, you cannot. Somebody helps, and at times you're duped and all that.
I know what you mean.
Yes. Until you came along, and I didn't know the online business at all. All I knew was that you could publish on your own and try as much as you can to put it out there. Yes.
Literary work, in all over the world is a really, really difficult, sector to get into, writing and books and stuff like that. So how would you say you market your books, if you can please explain it again? Because there's a lot of self-publishers out there that want to know, especially in Nigeria, how you can be able to market, even if you're not doing it. Could you please tell us about it in case, if some other people wants to do that as well too, please?
There's this recent book I have that I actually took to, that was targeted at teenagers. So I took to schools and to churches, and they bought in bulk.
Oh, that's good.
So, yes, and then I used to take to my office, and then my colleagues, they buy. Some people that see they buy at times in a good number. Some of them will pick 3, 4 at once, 5 copies, just like that.
Wow.
And some pay at once. Some will take and they not pay.
Not pay. Oh.
They'll say later, and then you don't see. And then at times, if you don't ask, it just goes like that. So it's difficult. It's difficult, self-publishing, and as if you're begging people, look at my stuff.
So what about online stuff? Is there any online organizations that help to sell books, or how do they cope with, apart from taking books around to other places? Don't they have bookshops and online places that they can sell their books?
Yeah, even the bookshops you take them to, but I took twice I've taken books to a local bookshop here. That's kind of like one of the biggest in Egua, but you know what they do? They keep you're known, nobody knows you now, so your book is just pushed to the corner. And you know what people like? We like anything foreign, sorry to say. So all the books imported are put out there in display, and then the few books from local authors that they keep out is from known people, and then yes, there are some publishing firms. I mean, look in Nigeria here that cater to some brand of books.
Okay.
But then yes. Personally, I've not been able to get in touch with any of them. So if a brand like that publishes your book, they are the ones to push out your book
marketing for you.
Yes, they are the ones to market. And those brands, their books are always on display. Something like Cowrie. Cowrie is just for little children.
Okay.
And then I think there is another one, Lighthouse or something.
Okay.
But I've not been able to reach any of those people. And so I'm just doing my thing. Maybe one day I'll be able to get in touch with a brand that can push my work out.
Oh, that would be so cool. And I wanted to ask you as well, since there's no bookshops and book groups as well in Nigeria, is it possible for you to start something as well, doing that, so you'll be able to like sell your own books and also some authors' books as well? Have you thought of that?
Book groups, no?
No, what I'm saying is, like we have book groups in England. What I'm saying is, if you guys have like a book group, like physical book groups, authors coming together,
where people come together.
Yeah, in Nigeria, like you could start something like that, and
yes. I've thought of something, but you have things like that mostly in Lagos.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that Lagos is so versatile. What they do in other countries happen in Lagos. Mm-hmm. People actually do book reviews in Lagos, where you just come read your book. But in any other part is a book launch, and that is one thing I just do not like. It's like you're forcing people, gather them together and say, you must buy my book. And I'm not comfortable with it. That is
I
what
get
people
you.
do.
I know what you mean. Yes, I get you.
Yes. So where we are, we've not. Maybe I could try that.
Yeah, try that. Because everything works. If you do like a kiosk kind of, book launch kind of thing, people will come bring their wares, to the place, and their books, and you guys can set up, like kiosk, everybody with his own stand, kind of thing. Then you guys will get to know each other, by doing that as well, interact, and also think of a way to promote your books as well. It's just an idea that I was looking at. I've not done one here either in England, but I just thought of it that if you do it in Nigeria, it might work. Or maybe when I come over as well, one of these days, we might as well do it.
It would be a good one.
Yeah, so that's what I thought. So I thought I should ask you. Like you explained, it's a very difficult, profession, being an author. If you are not published, and if you are not big yet, it's just a very, very difficult profession. So you just have to keep going till you get a literary agent. And have you thought of a literary agent as well? Literary agents that push your books and things. Have you thought of that too? Have you tried it? Can you hear me? Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, so like I was saying, I said being an author is a very, very, is a lucrative business, but very difficult to get into, even in this country as well. So self-publishing is the route that most people are going through. So what I was asking was, have you ever tried, a literary agent as well?
Yes, I had somebody, I told you, he was my publisher, he was my marketer. I don't know if I'll regard him as a literary agent.
Oh, because sometimes literal agents too are different, A literary agent is different because it just pushes your book, everywhere. So they're different from the publishers. Then some publishing houses, they have all of that in their books. They have literary agents and also publishers, so they have everything in their company. So once the book is out, they push it, but sometimes some don't have it. So that's why I was asking you that.
Because the person, my publisher, was also my marketer.
Okay.
So I kind of made him do it. He didn't want to. He was publishing for several people. And he had kind of like a following. Okay. I say you are there, you have a following, you have it all does mostly is Christian work, Christian literature.
Okay.
I say you have meetings, you organize meetings, and why don't you put these books out there? He wasn't willing, but later he did it and he said, whoa, he was making money out of it.
Oh, that's
good. But the bad thing was that he couldn't make returns. He kind of like held this kind of illusion. So it wasn't only me. So I don't know if he had to pay others, but personally, I couldn't get into, and that's one of the things.
Okay.
Yes, I had somebody that was working like that for me.
Okay. So when you write, do you like resonate with your like your characters, because when I write, I get into the mood, and the character, so really well that I just can't stop, once I start, I'm so fired up, like that. So could you please explain to me how you feel when you write, and your characters as well, though even though you said it's poems most of the time.
Resonate how?
Like
kind of
like the characters that you're writing, because you are making up your own characters. So how do you resonate with them, like the people that
I actually do not. The few kind of like novellas or storybooks I've written are all based on Bible characters.
Oh, okay then.
So I kind of like
it's a bit
build
different.
up a character.
Okay.
Yes, that might have seemed sketchy.
Kind
of like flesh out characters.
Okay.
Like what I'm working on now, Abigail. The story of Abigail who married Nabal.
Okay.
It's just a little story. But now it's fleshed out that you say, okay, I could relate with this. So I don't have my own characters.
Okay.
I get characters from the Bible and work with them, and like the last one I have now, those 3 days are based on the disciples of Christ.
Yeah.
What happened between the death and the resurrection of Christ, those 3 days, what really happened.
Okay.
And after those 3 days, kind of like the 40 days. And so my publisher was like, you write as if you were there when these things were happening.
That's how you write. You really get into character, as an author, you have to really get into the character. Yeah, that's part of what I was asking. Yeah, you'll have to resonate with them and, really get into character to be able to do that. Yeah. So apart,
like
okay. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, you use the imagination.
Yes.
And fill up what is not there.
Yes.
And not like you don't start adding, but what would have happened if kind of like in this situation?
True.
What will happen? Like working with the book Magdalene, Mary Magdalene, who Jesus cast out the 7 demons from. So how would she have been?
Yeah.
She might have just been somebody roaming maybe the marketplace. Not raging mad, but people know that this woman is insane.
True.
She might have carried out some acted insanely 1 or twice, so people kind of avoid her. So you feel out the things, which the Bible doesn't go into details. They just give a summary of it, but you feel those things out, and it's okay. I can relate with this person. She might have done this. She might have done that. She might have done other. So that is it.
That's cool. So apart from writing, how do you relax?
Yeah, I love movies. Life movies, comedies. I don't like watching anything serious. Things that just make you laugh.
Oh.
Comedies. Because life is hard enough.
True.
So you just want to cool off with light, funny movies that just laugh and forget things. Yeah.
True, because it's a difficult time out there as well for everybody. So
yeah.
Whatever will make you relax and just let the day go by, sometimes you'll do. So to chill out, Anyway, it's nice speaking with you.
Thank you.
I'll put your links down there for the links of your books, so everybody can see it. And I hope I speak to you again one of these days, or maybe when you come to London, we could meet. We could meet and interview face to face as well.
Okay, then.
So have a great time. Take care of yourself.
Wow, thanks for the opportunity. I'm so grateful.
You're welcome.
Really.
So
thanks
take care. All right. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you. God bless you.
Bye.